Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy. I'm back. I'm Chris the Dom One, and I'm back with another video. Rate, comment, subscribe. And since you're already subscribed, please hit that notification bell so you'll know when my next live stream or video goes down. The super chat feature is now enabled, so if you want to hook a boy up with a donation or two, you can do so. All right. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's video. The Cleveland Cavaliers have a shot to be, they're back in the swing of things. They're back in representing the East, particularly this year, the NBA Finals, when they go up against the Golden State Warriors, all right? Because of the moves and the decisions and the direction the Cleveland Cavaliers organization, including Dan Gilbert, illustrated yesterday. Addition by subtraction. All right. The Cleveland Cavaliers had a couple of days ago, had a lot of one-dimensional players. And when you defend these one-dimensional players and they don't have nothing else in their arsenal to be an addition to the team, then you can beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers got rid of Isaiah Thomas, an ISO player who was injured and had an agenda of getting a max deal, which, by the way, he got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. And before he can even suit up with the Los Angeles Lakers, he has already somewhat destroyed his relationship with the Los Angeles Lakers when his agent replied on social media. Isaiah Thomas is traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, and he is not going to come off the bench. He is going to be there as a starter. Now, Lonzo Ball is injured. Isaiah Thomas is going to get some starting time. But when that man comes back, best believe the Los Angeles Lakers are going to put Lonzo Ball back into the swing of things, back into a starting spot. All right? Like I said yesterday, that trade was a salary cap dump, and it would not surprise me none if after a couple of weeks of IT playing with the Los Angeles Lakers walk up to IT and say, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and waive you. All right? This is not working out. All right? Clearly, it's a salary dump to add more flexibility on their payroll, so they can be able to get two big NBA superstars either this offseason or next offseason. I would bank on the latter of next offseason. It's a likelihood Paul George is going to stay with the Thunder because he kind of likes the scenery and how the team is putting him into the fold of things. Plus, he likes playing with Russell Westbrook. He's a lot younger than LeBron James, so that therefore he's going to have a lot of years where they're going to be title contenders. All right. With LeBron James, you really don't know. All right. LeBron James is getting older. He's not getting any younger. Right. Father Time is going to win that battle between LeBron James. Plus, even if Paul George, let's just hypothetically speak, Paul George, for just a second, Paul George and LeBron James going to the Los Angeles Lakers, do y'all think that's going to be enough to dethrone the Golden State Warriors? Are you kidding me right now? Okay, that's still not enough to dethrone. And LeBron has already made his mind up, and this is the decision. Would he rather go to the West and never see an NBA Finals again unless he joins up and pairs it with the Golden State Warriors? And the Golden State Warriors are not entertaining that notion. Or stay in the East. He has better odds to get to the Finals and he'll probably lose to the finals. But if they play their cards right, it's a possibility that he can probably dethrone the Golden State Warriors in when I'm talking about in the future, in the next 3 years, 2 to 3 years. You never know. All right. So I think LeBron James is leaning towards staying in the East, and getting rid of IT is going to make that roster so much better. IT had his own agenda trying to get a max deal, and by that statement yesterday afternoon, he just destroyed his shot of getting a max deal. When he becomes a free agent this summer, a lot of people are going to, when he goes into interviews, a lot of these people are going to have a lot of questions about IT, and his resume is going to speak for himself. There's a reason why IT has been bounced around so many different teams. The only team where he had a foundation with and they could somewhat deal with IT is the Boston Celtics. But the Boston Celtics were expecting a lot from IT. All IT role was to shoot. That was it. All right. And they had better players around IT, so where IT can live in those types of situations. Now, when he got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, you have to do other aspects other than shoot. But that's the only good thing IT was good at, was shooting before the injury. All right. Now, they also got rid of Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose was not contributing to the team. If anything, he was subtracting from the team. Right? Derrick Rose, he too is seeking a max deal. Which, by the way, Derrick Rose was one of those, a lot of people don't talk about this, but LeBron James hanged his hat on Derrick Rose saying, well, look, I got a MVP, a former MVP in Derrick Rose to join the Cleveland Cavaliers for little to nothing. Right? Seems like everybody done forgot about that. Derrick Rose was LeBron James' boy, and they got rid of him. Jay Crowder was a cancer. Jay Crowder, Jay Crowder wasn't really adding anything to the team. Everyone kept talking about, well, Jay Crowder, he's a defender, he's a stopper, and he can shoot an open three. That's what everybody kept saying. He can shoot an open three. Well, the average NBA player can shoot an open three. Okay? So, if that's his strength, I hate to see all of his weaknesses, because, once again, a one-dimensional player who's primarily a defender, and he wasn't even good at that. Now, part of that could be the reasoning of the system that's in place with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and part of that could be Jay Crowder never liked being traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think, in a nutshell, a lot of executives are going to look at this, and a lot of future players are going to look at this. When you trade a player or players to your rivals, those players still have bad ill will towards that rival team that they are traded to. Okay, and I think that was part of the reason. And the second aspect of that reason was Jay Crowder and IT are upset, but they're upset at the wrong people. They should be more upset at Danny Ainge and Boston Celtics, because they were the ones who traded these guys, okay, for Kyrie Irving. Which, by the way, that makes that deal, which I was in a small group, a minute group, that said that the Boston Celtics won that deal, even with all the three players and the Brooklyn pick. Still, Kyrie Irving was better than those three. Yo, what's up, man? You are one. the Brooklyn pick, that Brooklyn pick was really all that the Cleveland Cavaliers was concerned about. They didn't give a damn about the other three players. If the other three players turned out to add some type of production, I am at your work. Okay, well, cool. All right. And they with all that being said, those three the players that the Cleveland Cavaliers added with the Kyrie Irving trade, they didn't care if they work out or didn't pan out, because they were going to, because this was planned all along. This was the Cleveland Cavaliers interpretation of a plan B if this deal didn't work out to the advantages of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, the Cleveland Cavaliers got a lot younger. They got a lot athletic. Clearly, the defense side of things is going to be a lot better than what was constituted a couple of nights ago. All right. So, and the chemistry, but the one thing, and you guys know, I state this on a consistent basis, is basketball, pro sport basketball is different from any other pro sports. It's different from football. It's different from hockey. It's different from baseball. And what I always say is, if you do not have chemistry, if you have trust issues with your teammates, then that hurts the team, short term and long term. That's why I said when they did these deals back in the summer, they're going to have to play a lot together. They're going to have to practice a lot together to make this somewhat work. Now they're back to square one with these new players, but the difference is these new players are a lot hungrier. They're a lot younger. They don't necessarily have agendas. They know if they support the team in wins, then ultimately it helps them out as individuals when you're talking about a salary and things of that nature. Okay. All right. And they're not egotistical. All right. The hustle plays are going to increase. The loose ball plays are going to increase, because the players that the Cleveland Cavaliers got now are going to do those other aspects that Derrick Rose, IT, Jay Crowder, Iman Shumpert, those players wasn't going to, those individuals were not going to do that, because they have already established themselves in the NBA. Now, reports indicate that the Utah Jazz are going to release Derrick Rose. Surprise, surprise. Okay. Once again, like I said earlier in this stream, this summer, Derrick Rose and IT are not going to be granted max salary contracts due to their reputation for just this year. You don't have to go back a year ago or 2 years ago. You can just stay in this season. When they went to Cleveland, what did they do to benefit the Cleveland Cavaliers? They had their own agendas. Derrick Rose is proven that he's not a dependable player. You can't rely on him because he will leave. Okay? That's a question mark with Derrick Rose. IT, the question mark with IT is, yes, he's injured, and when he's fully recovered or somewhat recovered, the only thing, as far as a shooter go, he can do that. But what about the other aspects to his game? Clearly, IT has to work on those other aspects of his game this summer to make some type of impression. And chances are he's probably going to sign another 1 year contract. It's not going to be maxed out. Okay. And he's going to have to prove his worth on his new team, whatever team he's going to be with. Clearly, the Los Angeles Lakers are not going to sign him to a max contract. All right. So, all of these moves. And another thing, a lot of people are saying, well, how come they didn't get the DeAndre Jordan deal done? Because the Clippers wanted too much. They got a little greedy. They got a little greedy for the needy. They was really trying to get that Brooklyn pick, which, by the way, Nick Wright on First Things First said, quote, that Brooklyn pick, the one that they're clamoring and holding, and nobody's not going to. What type of value is that? It's obviously, and if Nick Wright is following the NBA, a lot of teams were clamoring for that Brooklyn pick. So just because you think it's not as valuable, that doesn't necessarily mean in the NBA circles it's not valuable. NBA teams are in a position like NFL teams. NFL teams hold those picks valuable. And now NBA teams are starting to do that. Why? Because a lot of rookies this year have stepped their game up. And a lot of NBA franchises are going like, whoa, wait a minute. If these cats who were just drafted last summer are benefiting their team, then we can catch lightning in a bottle twice in the next draft. And in the next draft, they say this draft is better than last year's draft. Okay? So that's why the Cleveland Cavaliers are holding on to this Brooklyn pick. And Kyrie Irving, when he was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm not traded, when he got drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, that pick was to believe a 6th or 7th. It ended up turning into a #1 pick. Okay? And the Cleveland Cavaliers struck lightning again with another mid-level pick that later turned into a #1 pick. So you don't know how these picks are going to turn out. Therefore, these picks are highly valuable, all right, in their eyes and in my eyes as well. Now, with all of these moves, they only got like 30 games left, okay? So that means LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers organization, Tyronn Lue, they're going to have to work with these players. It's going to be a lot of growing pains. They're going to have some win streaks. People are going to be saying, "Oh man, these picks are turning out to be incredible for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They made the right moves," and they're going to be in a couple of slumps, maybe 1 or 2 losing streaks, where people are going to say, "Oh man, this is not panning out at all. Oh my God, why did they give away all of those veteran players for these young guys?" Okay, so you're going to have a lot of articles printed out either way, okay, and that's how it works in sports entertainment. But ultimately, the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to go into the playoffs. And even with the current lineup they had, I kept saying over and over again, in the East, there's only like maybe 1 or 2 teams that can really compete with the Cleveland Cavaliers in a 7-game series, and you don't know how it was going to play out or turn out. But ultimately, the rest of the teams wasn't going to be a lot of competition for the Cleveland Cavaliers, even with the old lineup they had. With this current lineup, you got LeBron James. You don't have a second option other than Kevin Love. All right, and then after that, it's questionable. It's spooky on who's the third option. Okay, but you got younger, athletic, defensive perimeter. You even got a 3-point shooter. Okay, you got George Hill, Rodney Hood. I think those are additions, not subtractions. All right. So, and these guys are going to be extremely professional. Larry Nance Jr. Technically, he's traded to a team where his father used to play. All right, and he's got a lot of things to prove, but he's going to put the team first over his own individual expectations. All right, so this may turn out to be a good thing. All right, so I still think if you have to pin me down, Toronto, in no particular category, this is not in no particular order, Toronto, Boston, and the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be one of those 3 teams that's going to represent the East. All right. And in the West, I already said the Golden State Warriors. Unless something catastrophic happens with the Golden State Warriors, where the players don't want to play with one another, or somebody's a season-long injury, or Draymond Green, if he keeps racking up these technicals, he's going to miss some pivotal playoff games. If one of those things happen, then yeah, then San Antonio Spurs are the next man up. Okay, but clearly the Golden State Warriors is going to represent the West, and the three teams I mentioned are going to be representatives of the East. All right, it's not as clear as it once was. All right, and next off season, like I said earlier in my stream, like I said in my stream, the LeBron James factor, people keep thinking that he's got more options at his disposal. Like, oh well, next offseason he might go to the Houston Rockets. He may go to the Spurs. He may go to the Golden State Warriors. He may go to the Los Angeles Lakers. None of those organizations are going to give him the leeway that he's currently getting from the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right. With these moves, these are not approved moves by LeBron James. These are more so from the Cleveland Cavs perspective of our plan B has just gotten significantly better. Okay, we still have the Brooklyn pick. We got these younger players that we got one, maybe 2 more years with. All right, even if LeBron James go, we still have a decent roster. All right, and I don't see LeBron James leaving because I don't see Paul George leaving. All right. Boogie Cousins is probably going to stay with the New Orleans Pelicans. All right. He likes the situation he's with Anthony Davis. It's a possibility LeBron could go to Houston. But once again, I don't see LeBron James even choosing Houston or the Lakers. All right. And out of those two teams, he would pick Houston over the Lakers because he couldn't bring 2 more additional superstars to the Lakers, right? Because I feel like Paul George is going to eventually stay with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they already locked up Carmelo Anthony, well, under the New York Knicks contract, and they already locked up Russell Westbrook. Okay, and I think that climate fits Paul George a lot better than him going to the Lakers, starting all over. And there's question marks when you're talking about the coaching because Luke Walton, he may have 1 more year with this roster next year, and then Magic Johnson has got to have a decision moment, and that moment may come this summer, particularly since there are better coaching candidates on the horizon that's already out there. All right, with them changing, there's a possibility that the Lakers could be looking for a new coach. All right. If not this summer, maybe midway through next season. All right. And do LeBron James want to go through all that? I'm not 100% sure LeBron James want to go through all that turmoil. And then he has to reinvent the wheel again with the Lakers, with the roster that they have. And Magic Johnson is not going to let LeBron James come in there and dictate who he wants to play with, who he thinks they should draft, simply by him playing NBA 2K. Okay, so I think the best route and the best situation for LeBron James is for him to stay in Cleveland. Most likely he's going to stay because of the reasons I mentioned in this live stream, and it's very beneficial for LeBron James to stay in Cleveland rather than going to the West. Okay, but guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, my brother, so you'll know when my next video or live stream goes down. Super chat is enabled. You can donate to your brother if you like. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Dom One, and I am out. Peace.